Is it something I said?
You've ruined my life! You've ruined my career!
Welcome to WatchMojo. And today we're looking at actors that have an infamous reputation for complaining, hostility towards other cast members, or just generally being difficult to work with.
Because to give them to you is just throwing them away.
Number 30, Dustin Hoffman. There's no denying that Dustin Hoffman has been in some great films and is one of the greatest actors of his generation. And he has a whole bunch of awards and nominations to prove it. However, his dedication to his craft has often come at the expense of a favorable work environment for those on set with him. He's been known to argue with directors and demand extra takes to get it perfect.
Sometimes both things have happened where he just doesn't want to do it the way I want it to be done, and I just refuse to do it the way he would prefer it to be done.
Then there's Meryl Streep. Hoffman starred opposite Streep in Kramer vs. Kramer, and on one of the first takes, he slapped her without warning. Hoffman has since discussed his performance on set as possibly acting out, quote, stuff that I was feeling toward the wife that I was divorcing in real life.
We were shooting the scene and I was properly upset, I thought, and I was getting my stuff together and walked out in the hallway, and he looked at me and he slapped me as hard as he could.
Who? Dustin.
Dustin.
Number 29, January Jones. After her turn as Betty Draper on Mad Men made her a household name, there was a feeling that January Jones was set up for stardom. And while she has continued to work since then, her star has never reached the previously expected heights. So the question is why? And while there are probably multiple factors, the easy answer many go to is Jones's reputation for being difficult to work with.
Everybody brush your teeth and go to bed.
I'm hungry.
You're going to bed.
That reputation is often linked to a comment from actor Jared Gilmore. Gilmore played Jones's son on Mad Men until 2011, and when he left the show, had this to say about his TV mom. Quote, she's not as approachable as the others. She's really serious about what she does. Everyone else is so nice.
Bobby, what did I just say?
I was an accident.
You don't listen.
Number 28, Lindsay Lohan.
You're like really pretty.
Thank you.
So you agree? What? You think you're really pretty? Oh, I don't know.
Everyone's favorite adorable actress from Mean Girls and other movies has had quite the infamous party streak, and it's interfered with her acting career on countless occasions.
Great, I'm being carjacked by my own car.
Like Charlie Sheen, Lohan does not know how to quit. And her partying and lavish lifestyle have apparently often resulted in Lilo being late for work and or too hungover to concentrate, if she shows up at all.
Did you hear that?
It's nothing.
The Canyon's director Paul Schrader has called her attitude, quote, unspeakable. And quite frankly, it's not that difficult to see why.
I don't, what happened? I don't understand. What do you mean something happened?
With her life and career seemingly on the upswing, we hope that Lohan has put that behavior behind her. Number 27, Russell Crowe. In discussing Russell Crowe's reputation for being hard to work with, director Curtis Hanson said, quote, what I speculate is that he's difficult when he's not trusting. Well, if that's true, then it would appear that Crowe doesn't trust a whole lot of people.
He fights his directors and he fights his fans. It's a problem no one understands.
If there's two things he loves, it's fighting and
fighting round the world.
That list would run from the hotel concierge whom he allegedly hit in the face with a thrown telephone to the producer on Gladiator whom he threatened to kill with his bare hands. Crowe has provided audiences with hours of enjoyment through his movies, but when it comes to his temper, no, Russell, we are not entertained.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Number 26, Faye Dunaway. Faye Dunaway is a Hollywood legend, but unfortunately, she appears to be just as legendary for her ugly attitude as for her iconic roles.
You better take me home now.
Now you wait.
Now don't you touch me!
All right. If all you want's a stud service, you get on back to West Dallas and you stay there rest of your life.
And if the stories are true, no one is safe from Ms. Dunaway's wrath. For example, there's the Pottery Barn employee who claims Dunaway called her a, quote, effing moron, and the Broadway wig designer's assistant who got her hand slapped when Dunaway didn't like, quote, how the hairpins were being presented. Even other actors aren't safe. According to James Woods, Dunaway once threw something at him because he ad-libbed a line during a take. And while she's denied it, it's been alleged that she threw her urine in Roman Polanski's face after he asked her to wait to take a bathroom break.
No more hangers! hangers doing in this closet when I told you no wire hangers ever?
Number 25, Patrick Dempsey.
You took advantage of me and now you want to forget about it.
I did not
I was drunk, vulnerable, and good-looking, and you took advantage.
The end of Derek Shepherd's run on Grey's Anatomy was a sad moment for fans. But it would appear that it was much more of a relief for many who had to work with actor Patrick Dempsey on the show, especially near the end of his run. Dempsey had a lot of power by then, and according to one producer, quote, some cast members had all sorts of PTSD with him. He had this hold on the set where he knew he could stop production and scare people. He would complain about working late when others had been there way longer than him, and the tension between him and Ellen Pompeo was palpable. McDreamy had become McDifficult, which led him to becoming McDead.
I'm a doctor. Dr. Gray. I'm a surgeon, just like my husband was. I know how this works.
You've waited the requisite number of hours, and now you can officially declare him dead.
Number 24, Julia Roberts. As one of the biggest movie stars of the 90s and 2000s, Julia Roberts was known by fans for her acting ability and her big smile. However, among those who worked in the movie business, she was also known for being, shall we say, less than pleasant to work with. The hostile relationship between her and Nick Nolte on the set of I Love Trouble has been well documented.
It was quite a performance you gave last night.
You weren't bad yourself.
But the tears. Great, really, Academy Award caliber.
Thank you, I try.
But there have been reports of Roberts not getting along with many other actors she's worked with, from Hugh Grant to Meryl Streep. Roberts has conceded that her personality can come across as, quote, really harsh. Her harshness on the set of 1991's Hook even rubbed Steven Spielberg the wrong way and earned her the nickname Tinker Hell among the crew.
Say it, Peter. Say it and mean it.
I believe in fairies.
Number 23, Mandy Patinkin.
Prepare to die.
While many of the actors mentioned probably don't think they deserve to be here, Mandy Patinkin would most likely be the first to add his own name to our list. Self-awareness is a great quality, and Patinkin has it when it comes to his behavior during the early years of his career. In 2013, Patinkin told the New York Times that he feels awful about how, quote, abominably he acted. He said, quote, during Chicago Hope, I never let directors talk to me because I was so spoiled. We can only hope such a revelation has made Patinkin more pleasant to work with in more recent years.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Number 22, Jared Leto. You've heard the expression, there's method to his madness? Well, when it comes to Jared Leto, the madness comes from his method. Leto is a hardcore method actor, and as such, dives deeper and more fully into roles and characters than many actors would.
Did you know that there are 27 bones in the human hand? Allow me to introduce the phalanges.
On set, he is only referred to by his character's name. And Will Smith, who played Leto's enemy in Suicide Squad, said the two actors didn't speak at all, quote, outside of action and cut. While that could be less than enjoyable, it doesn't compare to Margot Robbie and Viola Davis's experience on the film, receiving a gift from Leto of a dead rat and a dead pig, respectively.
I need a machine gun.
A machine gun?
Talk about a workplace romance gone wrong.
Number 21, Bill Murray.
Is this some radical new therapy?
You see?
Bill Murray has had a long career making great comedies and managed to segue into dramatic roles as well. Unfortunately, over that long career, he's also managed to accumulate a long list of people with unpleasant stories about what it's like to work with him. Gina Davis has written about Murray forcing a massage device on her and yelling derogatory things at her on set. Richard Dreyfuss said that a drunk Murray threw an ashtray at him while filming What About Bob? And a producer on that film has talked about Murray throwing her in a lake following a disagreement. Lucy Liu has also talked publicly about the, quote, inexcusable and unacceptable language Murray directed at her on the set of Charlie's Angels.
Alex, you okay?
She's having trouble with her secret identity, Boss.
Aren't we all? Scoot.
Number 20, Cybill Shepherd. Those who came of age in the 70s, 80s, or 90s probably have multiple memories of watching Cybill Shepherd on the big or small screen. And speaking of the small screen, most of the Cybill Shepherd is difficult stories focus on her television career, her jealousy of her co-stars, and her diva attitude on set.
Ready to go, Cybill? All set. Okay, any questions?
No, but I would like to say how pleased I am to be working with a woman. It's a whole different kind of energy. It's so much more nurturing. Then you don't have any questions.
While the 90s sitcom Cybill literally had her name on it, she has admitted to being envious of co-star Christine Baranski's Emmy win. And while her tension with moonlighting co-star Bruce Willis is well known, her unlikability went beyond him.
Will you tell me what's going on?
I don't know what's going on. The police want me for questioning.
Do you want me to go with you?
No.
You want to think about it?
Listen, I'll probably go home right afterwards. If I get any messages, call me. Otherwise, I'll see you in the morning.
Rumor has it that she was so bad on set that some of the writers later wrote a CSI episode in which an actress, based on Shepherd, is killed. Number 19, Alec Baldwin.
You want to go out on those sits tonight and close, it's yours. Not, you're going to be shining my shoes.
Alec Baldwin's difficulties with his daughter, paparazzi, and flight attendants have been well documented, and the stuff of many tabloid headlines over the years. But Baldwin's short temper and less than stellar attitude haven't just been reserved for family and airline employees. The actor has been known to bring said aggressive unpleasantness to work and sick it on those in and around the set as well. Adam Bernstein was a director on 30 Rock for just 6 episodes. Why only 6? It's been speculated that he didn't want to stick around very long after Baldwin threatened violence on him for holding up his thumbs to frame a shot. And another 30 Rock director, Paul Feig, called Baldwin the most difficult member of the cast to work with.
I'm sorry, are you on some subconscious level seeing this as me toying with your manhood?
Of course I am. I invented that.
Number 18, Steven Seagal.
The police are looking for you, but I'm gonna have to kill you first.
It seems increasingly difficult for Seagal to find credible work these days. Lord knows it's been a long, hard minute since the last time he had a box office hit. That may have something to do with the fact that he's supposedly a nightmare on set. Not only is Seagal cited as being highly critical of others, he's also been known to physically intimidate cast members.
And he Aikido'd me against the brick wall. Pow! Knocked all the air out of me. I was like, what?
Yeah. He purportedly slammed comedian John Leguizamo against a wall simply for laughing at him. Because, comedians aren't allowed to be funny. We'll put it this way. Henry Rollins has stated he'd rather drink latex paint than work with Seagal.
If you thought you could save the world, but nobody would know it, and you might have to give your life in doing it, would you do it?
Number 17, Charlie Sheen.
I'm by winning. I win here and I win there. Now what?
While not in the spotlight recently, Charlie Sheen's personal life has been the subject of controversy for years, including domestic issues with his then-fiancée Kelly Preston.
When she lifted my pants off the scale, it fell out of the back jeans pocket and hit the floor and shot a bullet right between her legs.
And his infamous drug addiction.
You borrow my brain for 5 seconds and just be like, dude, can't handle it. Unplug this bastard.
Therefore, it's not too much of a stretch to imagine just how difficult it would be to work with him.
He also tells me Chuck Lorre is a loser and a clown and a whole lot worse than that.
His substance abuse and disparaging comments about Chuck Lorre are apparently what got him fired from his career-rejuvenating role on 2.5 Men.
Hello?
Oh, hey, Alan, come on in.
We can't blame him entirely, though. If he really is a freaking rock star from Mars, they may have different sets of customs over there.
I'm tapped out, Mark. American Express got a hitman looking for me.
Number 16, Thomas Gibson.
All right, everybody right now, what's my worst quality?
The former Criminal Minds actor-director was well known for being a constant source of friction on set. Fellow cast members have claimed Gibson is highly demanding, requiring scheduling to revolve around his agenda.
I love Thomas Gibson.
Okay.
I actually sent him a text when I found out what happened.
Did he respond?
No, he did not.
Worse, however, is his temper. Gibson was fired from Criminal Minds in August 2016 after the final straw in a string of controversial incidents. In 2010, he reportedly shoved an assistant director during a shoot. In 2013, he picked up a DUI, something producers were not pleased about. Then in 2016, Gibson allegedly kicked writer-producer Virgil Williams.
I wouldn't have kept kicking, but I was afraid you didn't get my plans.
An established pain in the ass, Criminal Minds simply decided to let Gibson go.
It's not a request.
Number 15, Shia LaBeouf.
No.
No, 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 no!
Though he got his start in Hollywood in kids' shows and blockbusters, Shia LaBeouf's growth into an artist and filmmaker surprised many. Over the years, he's made more than a few controversial remarks, engaged in what some would call publicity stunts, and according to some, he can also transform into a bit of a jerk.
Okay, here's the dream. Your B minus, dream gone.
Shia is notorious for his temper and belligerent attitude, even leaving the Broadway production of Orphans he was slated to star in due to constant bickering and fights with his co-stars, especially Alec Baldwin.
Now, Baldwin just recently responded via the New York Times, stating he was very disappointed. And regarding what people feel about the events that happened, you expect communications to be private because everyone wants this process to be as collegial as possible.
According to some, however, LaBeouf was just straight up fired.
No sacrifice. No victory.
Number 14, William Shatner.
All right, you mutinous, disloyal, computerized half-breed. We'll see about you deserting my ship.
Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock may have overcome their differences and become friends in the world of Star Trek, but that wasn't the case for the real-life relationship between actors William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy. Shatner was reportedly the jealous type, upset at the amount of fan mail Nimoy received, and insecure over his importance to the show. Shatner apparently stole dialogue from Nimoy and other actors to elevate his own significance, and yet Nimoy was Shatner's best man at his fourth wedding.
There is a thing that happens to Vulcans at this time.
Shatner also apparently feuded with other actors on the series, though, like Nichelle Nichols and George Takei. Evidently obsessed with his own status, Shatner reportedly threw fits to make sure he was the center of attention and in control.
That was a very unusual question. Did you do research on that?
This is one of our viewers, one of your fans. Don't mock us.
You're mocking our viewers.
Number 13, Edward Norton. Edward Norton is one of the finest actors in the industry, so it comes as no surprise that he takes his craft extremely seriously.
Quit your crying. I can't understand a goddamn word you're saying. You little sissy, you make me sick.
We repeat, extremely seriously. In fact, Norton has a reputation for shadow directing.
If you come near Danny again.
He sat in on the editing for American History X because he didn't trust Tony Kaye, and often clashed with the studio during The Incredible Hulk over creative differences.
Mi deixo conforme. Não bom quando eu homem.
While the people behind the film said the dispute was blown out of proportion in the media and a promo tour was planned for the movie, Norton didn't do any promotion following its release. So, yes, by all accounts, he is that one employee who tells everyone else how to do his or her jobs.
You look at me when I'm talking to you.
Number 12, Klaus Kinski.
Listen. The children of the night make their music.
Even the most difficult of actors tends to make a few friends in the industry. And even if they don't, sometimes you can put up with the worst of the worst if they're simply that damn talented. And then sometimes you have people like Klaus Kinski, who was reportedly so difficult that nobody gave him a second chance. Though not a household name, the German actor appeared in over 100 films throughout his long career. Despite that extensive list, Kinski only ever worked with one director on multiple occasions. All the others refused to deal with him again. To put it bluntly, Kinski has been described as insane. Prone to frequent blow-ups, there really is no comparison to his madness.
Ich spiele es jetzt so, wie ich will und aus. Gut, ja, aber wir müssen natürlich wissen. Endlich aufhören, so mit ihr Hausfrauenanweisungen zu geben.
Number 11, Jennifer Lopez.
My reputation apparently is pretty solid, so...
While 2019's Hustlers was very well received, Lopez's earlier work didn't do wonders for her reputation.
It's turkey time.
Huh? Although she's known as a very hard worker, Jenny from the Block has been called out in the past for so-called diva behavior.
You did not just poke me! Don't you touch me, you two-bed tramp! Oh!
She's been said to often make ridiculous demands, like numerous 5-star hotel rooms to stay in and her own private plane so she can travel in true diva style. All on someone else's dime, of course.
She was supposed to be going to India to perform, but she asked for a private plane. She also asked for an exorbitant amount, that's what they're saying, of hotel rooms for her huge entourage.
And the kicker? She refuses to perform if her demands are not met. We guess it's too bad her demands were met in the case of Gigli.
Gobble, gobble.
Number 10, Terry Hatcher.
I think you should spend some time with a decent role model, don't you?
It seems Terry Hatcher's behavior fit right in with Susan Myers. Hatcher, most known for her role as the desperate housewife, didn't have to change much of what's allegedly her personal character to fit into the drama-filled world.
Oh my God. We are so not having this conversation.
Reports indicate that Hatcher was extremely cold to her co-stars on set, making even the easiest scenes uncomfortable to shoot. As an indicator of how poorly she meshed with her housewife's family, Hatcher was left out of an end-of-series gift from the ladies to the crew. The feud between Hatcher and the women was well known to all involved with the show, so her snub came as a surprise to no one.
You know you've hit middle age when your memories become more important to you than your dreams.
Number 9. Katherine Heigl.
Yeah, you think that's funny?
Yeah, I do.
Katherine Heigl clearly hadn't heard the expression, "don't bite the hand that feeds you," as that is exactly what she seemed to do in the past.
It's just a theory, one of many.
After breaking into the mainstream with Knocked Up, Heigl went on record saying that she thought the movie was, quote, a little sexist, and had a hard time enjoying it.
She was complaining about how the movie depicted women in a very negative way and that she didn't like it, and she was a little ashamed of even starring in that movie.
The real irony here is that her treatment after speaking out may have been the result of sexism, and both Seth Rogen and Judd Apatow later made peace with the star. But then, of course, she wasn't a fan of Grey's Anatomy's writing either, and she supposedly annoyed co-workers on a daily basis due to wardrobe grievances and constant script complaints.
It's just a job. It's just a job. It's the thing you come home from, not the thing you come home to. And if you lose your job, you get another one.
Number 8. Lea Michele.
What can you do when your good isn't good enough? When all that you touch tumbles down.
Don't sit there and assume the cast of Glee reflected its show's name when the cameras were not rolling. Rather, Lea Michele, who played one of the singing stars, Rachel Berry, apparently took on the cutthroat mentality of a real high school diva when it came to her behavior on set.
Don't use the fact that Jesse and I once had feelings for each other as an excuse for my inevitable win.
According to reports, Michele was rude to all involved with production, making the cast and crew stand around and wait extensively until she was ready to begin shooting. Crew members also claim Michele refused to speak to junior members of the Glee staff. On top of that, in 2020, Glee co-star Samantha Ware said Michele made her first television gig, quote, living hell, and described repeated instances of traumatic microaggressions towards the black actress. Number 7. Christian Bale. Who doesn't remember Bale's eye-opening audio recording that came out publicly in 2009? The grainy 2008 recording exposed an incident on the set of Terminator Salvation, where Bale absolutely blew up at the film's director of photography, Shane Hurlbut, for walking into his line of vision during a scene.
No, don't just be sorry. Think!
The recording is incredibly disturbing to hear, as Bale unleashes a vicious and unwarranted tirade on Hurlbut. But it's not just his volatile temper that makes Bale so hard to work with. He's a method actor, which means he fully invests himself in his characters. So when you work with Bale, you don't just get his craziness, you get the craziness of his characters too.
Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Number 6. Sean Penn.
Sean Penn, you rude. Dumb, rude, and full of farts. You stanky Sean, real-time stanker.
When it came out in early 2016 that infamous Mexican drug lord El Chapo met and interviewed with actor Sean Penn, the most reasonable question asked by the public was, why? What qualifications does Penn have?
Forget about blame. We're going to put all our focus, all our energy, all our billions of dollars on the bad guy.
Well, if he were to respond to that question, we probably wouldn't be able to publish it due to explicit language and its overall awful message. Though known as a great actor, he is also famous for allegedly being incredibly rude and an overall jerk.
Well, I'm not going to do that.
And although they are indeed serious, we won't even discuss the allegations of domestic abuse lobbied against him. And instead, we're just going to focus on his very real identity as a nightmare to work with.
My own little daughter, and I can't even cry for her.
Allegedly hostile and intimidating, he's not someone you want to share the screen with. Number 5. Mike Myers.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Pick your jaw up off the floor. We weren't expecting it either, but apparently this funny man is not nearly as fun as his characters.
That is one crazy get-up you got there, fella.
Hey, thank you.
The Austin power star has been constantly called, quote, moody and temperamental, and many complain about the degree of control Mike Myers feels he should be able to exhibit over the cast and crew.
It's a very groovy time.
Many executives in the industry have simply refused to work with him, and rumor has it he even had a crew member fired for looking him in the eyes on a particularly bad day. Not groovy, baby.
Well, that's where I see things just a little differently. Contract or no, I will not bow to any sponsor.
Number 4. Val Kilmer.
It's the car, right? Chicks love the car.
When you've had a career as long and as all-encompassing as Val Kilmer, there's a chance you've rubbed some people the wrong way.
Chair.
Many of Kilmer's ex-girlfriends have spoken of his eccentric behavior. This sentiment has been further mirrored by Joel Schumacher, who directed Kilmer in Batman Forever, calling his behavior towards a crew member, quote, rude, childish, and inappropriate.
Are you yesterday's news, Bruce?
Kilmer supposedly fought with camera operators and the wardrobe department on set. Similar comments were made by Richard Stanley, a director who worked on the island of Dr. Moreau, who claimed that, quote, Val would arrive and an argument would happen. Kilmer addressed his difficult-to-work-with reputation in a 2017 Reddit AMA, regretting his actions, saying he, quote, was often unhappy trying to make pictures better.
Until one terrible morning you wake up and realize that revenge has become your whole life. And you won't know why.
You can't understand.
Number 3. Chevy Chase.
And I want to look him straight in the eye, and I want to tell him what a cheap, lying, no-good, rotten...
Who hasn't Chevy Chase pissed off? Kindly regarded as perhaps the biggest grump in Hollywood, Chase has been described as an indefensible, cruelly vicious put-down artist.
Put yourself down, Al.
As early as his SNL days, Chase was burning bridges with the likes of John Belushi, Bill Murray, and the writers. He's talked serious smack about most big names in the industry. Some notables include Will Ferrell, Howard Stern, Kevin Smith, and Bill Maher. More recently, Chase destroyed the one good thing he had going with the cult classic show Community.
Chevy, how you feeling about the Dan Harmon stuff?
The what?
Dan Harmon.
Who's that?
He heavily criticized the series and showrunner while he was still a cast member, and was known to have extremely offensive on-set tirades. We can't imagine Chase has many friends left.
Every man should be punched in the face. It's a rite of passage.
Number 2. Joan Crawford.
You look down on me because I work for a living, don't you?
While some actors are blatantly difficult to work with, there are others who are much more subtle, and perhaps no one played that role better than Joan Crawford. An undeniably beautiful woman, Crawford gained a reputation throughout Hollywood for using her body to control others. A master manipulator, Crawford sparked problems with cast members by reportedly sleeping around with fellow actors and directors. In arguably the most notorious feud in Hollywood history, Crawford developed an intense hatred for Bette Davis, who reciprocated the loathsome sentiment.
You don't know what you're saying. Blanche, you aren't ever gonna sell this house.
Keeping a character, the beef developed after Crawford stole Betty's love, franchot tone. It's an unwritten rule to keep your hands away from what's not yours, but Crawford never played by the rules.
All this time we could have been friends.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Marlon Brando.
You know that one employee who just doesn't give a crap? Always does whatever he wants and never listens to the boss? In Hollywood, that man was Marlon Brando.
Those kind of words have been on your tongue, and your sister's tongue is too much around here. Who do you think you are, a pair of queens?
Brando was notorious for ignoring direction, and he wouldn't even memorize his lines, preferring instead to just wing it during filming.
$4 million in your mitt.
$4 million?
More than you ever even dreamed of, more than we ever did together.
Write cue cards to leave somewhere off camera, or wear an earpiece.
This is the most outrageous spectacle I have ever witnessed.
He was also deeply methodical about his acting, which greatly alienated many people when the cameras were not rolling.
Horror and moral terror are your friends. If they are not, then they are enemies to be feared.
It must have worked, though, because Brando is known today as one of the greatest actors ever.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Were you surprised to find any of these actors on the list? Let us know in the comments.
You left me in a black hole of rage and confusion. Without the medicine you practice, Dr. Quinzel.
What are you gonna do? You gonna kill me, Mr. J?
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.